Good morning. This is Pastor Becca here on this Monday morning, bringing our daily devotional thought and practice. It is kind of a gloomy morning here in KC as storms begin to move into our area. And I have to admit that when I woke up this morning, my mood kind of matched that gloomy weather outside. I was just about a little bit gloomy, a little bit down, a little bit frustrated. There wasn't anything specific that happened. I think it was just a result of beginning another Monday, yet another week in the midst of this quarantine, stay at home reality that we find ourselves in. And I think I'm just feeling a little bit gloomy and down and frustrated because of it. And I share this with you because my guess is that I'm not alone in this. My guess is that many of us are probably experiencing some of these emotions. We've been under this stay-at-home order for quite some time now. We miss being able to gather together in person. We miss being able to hug our loved ones. We miss being able to go out and about and to do some of the things that we normally love to do. And so while I am so thankful for the ways that God has provided in the midst of this quarantine, for some of the beautiful things that I've seen come out of it, I still have to admit that I'm feeling just a little bit gloomy, just a little bit down, reflecting the mood of the weather outside this morning. And I want you to know that if you're in that place, you're not alone. I think sometimes in the church we have this idea that we have to keep up a brave face, that we have to paste this smile on our face at all times, that we have to hide any potential perceived negative emotions that we might be experiencing. And yet if we look at Scripture, that doesn't seem to be the case. One of the things that I love about Scripture is its honesty and its authenticity. We see God's people share the moments of rejoicing and share the moments of frailty, the moments of feeling gloomy and down, the moments of questioning and doubt. And we particularly see this in the words of the psalmist. I want to read a psalm with you this morning that I think might fit pretty well where some of us might find ourselves in the midst of this quarantine and stay-at-home order. I want to read a word of the Lord with you from Psalm chapter 13. Psalm chapter 13. Hear the word of the Lord. How long, Lord, will you forget me forever? How long will you hide your face from me? How long must I wrestle with my thoughts and day after day have sorrow in my heart? How long will my enemy triumph over me? Look on me and answer, Lord my God. Give light to my eyes, or I will sleep in death, and my enemy will say, I have overcome him, and my foes will rejoice when I fall. But I trust in your unfailing love. My heart rejoices in your salvation. I will sing the Lord's praise, for he has been good to me. This is the word of the Lord for us this morning. Thanks be to God. I think many of us can probably relate to the words of this psalm this morning. It might look a little bit differently than it was for the psalmist, but I think the question, how long, O Lord, is one that we probably all find ourselves asking. How long, O Lord, will all of this last? How long, O Lord, before we can go and give our loved ones a hug or go on vacation or go do whatever we might want to do? How long, O Lord, until we can gather together as the people of God in the sanctuary once again? How long, O Lord, until this time of fear and grief and isolation is over? How long, O Lord? I think God welcomes those questions from us. I think God invites us to come into God's presence just as we are. Bearing our souls before God, asking these difficult questions that are weighing so deeply on our hearts. This particular psalm is attributed to King David, and I can imagine that there are many times in King David's life when he asked this question, how long, O Lord? One of those times that comes to mind for me is when he is being chased by King Saul and his life is constantly in danger, and he spends years on the run trying to preserve his life. I can imagine this question comes up in the long watches of the night. How long, O Lord? Will this last forever? How long, O Lord? And friends, I think God welcomes those same questions from us this morning. So this would be my encouragement to you. Don't stuff down those feelings of feeling gloomy or frustrated or having these difficult questions. Instead, spend some time in the presence of God, just as you are, bringing these things before God, bearing your soul before God, asking these difficult questions of God, and just allowing God to minister to you in that place. I think there's something really powerful in recognizing that we don't have to hide ourselves from God. We don't have to put on a brave face for God. We don't have to paste on a smile before coming before God, but we can come before God just as we are, and God welcomes us, and God ministers to us in a way that only God can. And my hope is that when we come to God, when we bare our souls, when we allow the Spirit to minister to us, that we end up in the same place that the psalmist ended up. But in spite of all of the questions, in spite of all of the frustrations, in spite of all of the feelings of gloominess and sadness and sorrow, in spite of all of the circumstances, but I trust in your unfailing love. My heart rejoices in your salvation. I will sing the Lord's praise, for he has been good to me. My prayer is that's where we end up. That we allow ourselves to feel and to experience and to bear these things before God. That we end up allowing the Spirit to minister to us, to restore the joy of salvation that is not based on any circumstance, on any emotion or mood or happenstance that we find ourselves in, but that is a gift from God, a peace that passeth all understanding, a truth that speaks to our heart even in the midst of very difficult days. Friends, allow the Spirit to minister to you just as you are today. May the peace of Christ be with you. May you experience the presence of the risen Christ in a very real way in your life today. And may you experience the ministry of the Spirit as you come before God just as you are. Blessings.